Welcome students to completing the square assignment extra example video. So you'll notice these problems are written a little bit differently than the one that is on the assignment itself. Don't worry about it, they just have another number over here already instead of a y, but it's actually not going to really change the steps that you have to do. So let's try a few, shall we? Let's just start with number 1. So the first thing you need to do, remember, is move this number here to the other side. So do that. Add 35 to both sides. And 6 plus 35 is 41. And notice there's not a y there already, so go ahead and just put y plus 41. Okay, next thing you're going to do is if there's a number in front of the a squared, you're going to factor that out. Now notice here there's not one. So I don't have to worry about that step. I can just move on to the next step and add a blank to both sides. So a squared plus 12a plus a blank equals y plus 41 plus blank. And then remember, you're going to take half of this number and square it to put it in the blanks. So half is 6, so square it to put that in the blanks. So put 6 squared in the blanks. That's 4. Right, now once you have this, once you have the squared and the blanks, you're just going to take this and this, so the two quantities that are being squared, and use those to write your factors. So the factored form is a plus 6 squared. So the 12a gets factored there. That's what's happening. Equals y plus 41 plus 6 squared. And then just simplify that. So 41 plus 6 squared is 77. So a plus 6 squared equals y plus 77. And then just move the 77 over to the other side. So your final equation in vertex form is y equals a plus 6 squared minus 77. Okay, so number 2. So again, first thing you're going to do is don't worry about the fact that there's already a number here instead of just a y. You're still going to do this first step the same way. So add 17 to both sides. Okay, so v squared minus 2v equals, and this is 8, and go ahead and put that y there. That is missing. Okay, then you're going to add a blank to both sides. So v squared minus 2v plus a blank equals y plus 8 plus a blank. And then remember, half of this number gets squared. So half of negative 2 is negative 1, and put negative 1 squared in your blanks. Remember, when you square a negative, you have to have parentheses. Then you're going to take your two squared quantities and use those to write your factor. So v minus 1 squared. And if you want to confirm v minus 1 squared, go ahead and do box method multiplication. You'll get this back. Equals y plus 8 plus negative 1 squared. And go ahead and simplify this right here. V minus 1 squared equals y plus 9. And then subtract 9 from both sides so that you'll get y by itself again. And you get y equals v minus 1 squared minus 9. All right, so 3, 4, 5, 6 are pretty much the same way because there's nothing in front of that variable. The leading coefficient's 1. But if you go to 7 and 8, there is a number in front of there. So I said we'd do 7, so let's do 7. All right, so it's going to be the same as the ones on the other side, but there's that one extra step. that was in the notes. So first thing you're going to do, add 77 to both sides. So 4n squared minus 16n equals 81, and go ahead and put that y there. So 4 plus 77 is 81, and go ahead and put the y that is missing. All right, then the thing that we did not have to do on the earlier problem was factor out that 4. So let's do that. So 4, and what's 4n squared divided by 4? Well, it's just n squared. And what's negative 16 divided by 4? Well, it's negative 4. Okay, so you can verify that if I take 4 times n squared, I get 4n squared. And if I take 4 times negative 4n, you get negative 16n. So it's just distributive property backwards. Okay, so now I'm going to do my add a blank step. So 4n squared minus 4n plus blank equals y plus 81 plus, and remember to put that 4 again in front of the blank. Blank. And then remember you're going to take half of this, which is negative 2, and that's what you square. And then once you have your squared quantities, you're going to take those to write your factors. So keep that 4 in front, then n minus 2 squared equals y plus 81 plus 4 negative 2 squared. Then simplify this. So 81 plus 4 times negative 2 squared, which is 97. So 4n minus 2 squared equals y plus 97. And finally subtract 97 from both sides. And you get y equals 4n minus 2 squared minus 97. So there's that one. Okay, so now I stuck these problems in here. They weren't on the notes, but find the roots of each quadratic using reverse PEMDAS. You guys are pretty good at reverse PEMDAS, so I'm just going to kind of show you on here or show you in small group. I think you'll do a good job. So let's look at number 9. Now find the roots means y equals 0. So on these problems, since we're looking for the roots, you're always going to replace y with 0. Okay, so do that for all those. And then you're going to do reverse PEMDAS. Okay, so first things first, add or subtract anything not inside the parentheses. So you're going to add 1. Then multiply or divide by anything that's not in the parentheses. So you're going to divide by 2. Next, this is going to actually be a pretty messy answer. Next, you have to cancel the exponents. So hopefully guys you remember how to cancel a 2. You can use a 1/2 exponent, which is the same as the square root. And you're going to have to remember your plus and minus. So 0.5 to the power of 0.5 is this. So I'm going to round it to 0.707. So remember both. When you take square root or use a 1/2 exponent, you are going to have 2 answers. So don't forget to do positive and negative. And then your last step is to add 1. And there are your roots. So let's do one more of those, and I think I would like to do 14. So let's check out 14. So again, since we're finding roots, replace y with 0. And then go ahead and do reverse PEMDAS. So add or subtract anything not in parentheses. So subtract 4. Done. Now multiply or divide anything not in parentheses. Now remember this negative sign is like having a -1 right here. So don't forget to deal with that. Don't forget to cancel it out. And you do that by dividing by -1, which just changes the sign here. So it becomes positive 4 equals x plus 4 squared. That's done. And then to cancel your exponent, remember to do the reciprocal, or a square root in this case. And 4 to the 1/2 power is 2 or -2, so 2 equals x plus 4, or -2 equals x plus 4. So these are all going to, you're going to have to do them twice. Okay, and then just subtract 4. So x equals -2, or x equals -6. And there's your solutions.